In today's video, I'm going to share the most important truth about Social Security claiming, a lesson that took me almost 20 years as a retirement advisor to fully understand. Now, you've probably heard of break-even math. That's the idea that there's a right age to claim Social Security based on how long that you expect to live. And for many people, that math then becomes the centerpiece for their claiming decision. Social Security claiming might start with break-even math, but real retirement planning means factoring in your taxes, your investments, your marital status, health, and even your longevity. It's not a simple spreadsheet calculation, it's a strategic decision with long-term ripple effects. That's why in today's video, I'll walk you through the common Social Security myths that I see retirees fall for, the real-life factors that should shape your claiming strategy, and how to build a plan that protects your benefits, your portfolio, and most of all, your peace of mind. And if you stay until the very end of the video, I'll share why 15% more Americans filed for their Social Security benefits earlier this year as opposed to previous years, and how a single misunderstanding could be permanently shrinking their retirement portfolio. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Benjamin Brandt. I've been a financial advisor for almost 20 years, and I want to make your retirement even better. So there's a trade-off at the heart of every Social Security claiming decision. Do you collect benefits sooner and reduce withdrawals needed from your portfolio? Or do you wait for a larger benefit from Social Security down the road and tap your portfolio early? Now, to answer that, we need to look at how your benefits change over time and what we might expect from our portfolio over that same time frame. We've got to try to compare apples to apples. So from age 62 until your full retirement age, which is going to be between 66 and 67, depending on when you were born, your Social Security benefit grows by about 6% per year. Now, that growth is largely powered by each year removing an early claiming penalty by about 5% per year, depending on when you were born. Every month that we wait, a little bit of penalty gets removed. Then from full retirement age until 70, it grows by an even more impressive 8% per year, thanks to what's called delayed retirement credits. Now, you're probably thinking, Ben, if I collect my Social Security benefits early, then I won't have to withdraw as much from my investments, and that'll give my portfolio more time to grow. Maybe I can even outpace that 6% or that 8% increase that Social Security might give me, and I'll beat that with my investments. And yes, at first glance, that logic might seem to check out. But here's a piece of the math that often gets missed. Even if your portfolio does, let's say, grow by 10% per year, not every single component of your portfolio is built for that kind of growth. Now, most retirement portfolios, especially for folks approaching retirement, people in their 60s, they're going to include a mix of stocks and bonds. And the reason for that is because that mix reduces risk, but it also reduces your average annual returns. So your stocks might have a long-term average of maybe 8 or 10% or more per year, but the bonds and cash in your portfolio, they might only be expected to earn 4 or 5% per year, maybe even less. So what if you could delay your Social Security and get that 6 or 8% annual increase as a guaranteed return while spending from the lower growth component of your portfolio? Well, that's exactly what I see many smart retirees doing. Instead of tapping their entire portfolio, they just use the bonds and cash portion, which, mind you, is the part of our portfolio where we'd expect lower returns. They use that then to fund their spending in their early years. Spend money early on out of your bonds and cash. That way, the stock portion of your portfolio can keep growing, and they get a guaranteed inflation-adjusted boost from delaying their Social Security benefits. It really is a win-win, right? It's an opportunity to have your cake and eat it too, but only if you think of Social Security as a piece of your overall income and investment strategy, not one singular piece in isolation. Because in retirement, what matters isn't just the size of your monthly benefit, it's how all the pieces of your financial life work together. While break-even math seems like a logical way to time your Social Security benefits, it often overlooks the ripple effects across your entire financial plan. So to really understand the impact of when you claim, we've got to shift the question from when do I break even to how do I build the most resilient plan that I can, giving me the most financial flexibility. It's easy to understand why many retirees feel tempted to claim their benefits as soon as possible. After all, the checks are guaranteed, and taking them sooner means that you don't have to rely so heavily on your investment portfolio. But here's what I've seen play out in hundreds of different retirement plans. Claiming too early reduces our overall spending flexibility, which potentially increases our future tax liability, and that could drastically reduce the income that we're saving for a surviving spouse. So I've identified 7 reasons why break-even Social Security math could have you missing the bigger picture. So reason number 1, you lock in a lower benefit forever. When you claim early, your benefit gets permanently reduced, and then that lower amount becomes the base for every future cost of living adjustment. So ask yourself, would you rather get a 3% inflation raise on $4,000 per month of benefit or on $5,000 per month, right? Same 3% inflation adjustment, but more cash in your pocket. Now, the difference is going to compound over time. It doesn't just affect your benefits today, it affects every future year of retirement, especially in your 80s and 90s when you're going to be most dependent on that retirement income. Number 2, you miss out on 6 to 8% guaranteed growth. So from 62 until full retirement age, your benefit grows by about 6% per year, like we mentioned. From full retirement age until 70, it grows by 8% annually, guaranteed and backed by the U.S. government. That's a guaranteed return that few investments can really match, especially when we're talking about zero market risk and a very short investment time horizon, right? 8% for 1 year is almost unheard of. So claiming early means giving up that growth. And once you've claimed, it's difficult to go back and fix it. Now, I did just mention that your benefits are backed by the U.S. government. This is a good time to mention that many of you are planning to collect benefits early because you think that Social Security is going to run out. It's a completely valid concern, and I'm going to dedicate a section to that later in the video where we address that specifically. And I've got a strategy for that. Number 3, you put more pressure on your portfolio. So if you lock in a lower Social Security benefit, you're asking your portfolio to fill that income gap for you for the rest of your life. And this could introduce more longevity risk, which is the chance that you might outlive your money. But if you delay Social Security and rely more on your portfolio in the early years, you can actually flip that and do the opposite. Use your portfolio when you're young and mobile, and then fall back on higher guaranteed income later on when your life slows down a little bit. It's a smarter way to take advantage of the strengths of both of your options, the strength of your portfolio and the strength of Social Security, right? We want the best of both worlds when we can have it. Number 4, you lose a key tool for navigating market volatility. Social Security can act as like a pressure release valve in retirement. So let's say you delay your benefits and markets take a downturn. Well, you now have the option to turn on Social Security to reduce the withdrawals coming from your portfolio, which helps you avoid locking in losses. Now remember that the market is up most of the time. Something like 70% of any given year is going to be up. Let's use that to our advantage and plan for more income and more flexibility early on in retirement while preserving some of the really valuable guarantees for later on in retirement. If you claim your benefits early, you've already pulled that lever and then you lose that opportunity to be more flexible. Number 5, you give up tax planning opportunities. This is a really key one. So the years between retirement and when you start Social Security are often your best years for long-term tax planning in retirement. More flexible options and deferred income sources allow for more opportunities for tax planning with things like Roth conversions, capital gains harvesting, and strategic IRA withdrawals. So let's look at it like this. If you went to a retirement tax expert and they said the absolute number one way to drastically reduce the taxes over the course of your retirement was to use Roth IRA conversions and fill up to the 22% income tax bracket from the day you retire until age 65. Now, if we claim Social Security early to the tune of $30,000 per year, well, then that's $30,000 that we can't convert within the 22% tax bracket, which could then cause you to pay tens of thousands of unnecessary taxes later on in retirement. $30,000 in Social Security benefits is $30,000 worth of Roth conversions that you now can't do, presuming that your goal is to hit a specific income number, like filling up the 22% bracket. Just to say it a different way to reinforce the clarity, let's say the perfect thing for you to do in your situation is a $50,000 Roth conversion, but you've collected $30,000 worth of Social Security. Now you can only do a $20,000 Roth conversion if we're trying to hit a specific number. So by claiming early, it removes some of the room we had in that bracket that we wanted to fill up with something else. Capital gains harvesting, Roth conversion, you name, whatever it could be. Claiming Social Security early could cause you to miss a once-in-a-lifetime chance to really take control of that lifetime tax bill. Number 6, you build a less secure back end of your retirement. Here's the reality. Your 80s and 90s might be your most vulnerable years, physically, emotionally, and financially. That's when you're going to want simple, straightforward, inflation-adjusted guaranteed income that you just can't outlive, which is exactly what we get with Social Security. It also increases survivor benefits for a spouse, which can be really crucial for couples that have age gaps or uneven work histories, or the simple fact that women tend to outlive their husbands by sometimes nearly a decade. And we're going to cover that specifically in more detail in the next section. And then finally, number 7, you undermine the front-end confidence of your plan. This might sound backwards, but delaying Social Security can actually help you enjoy retirement more in the early years. Why is that? It's because you've built a stronger income floor for later. For a lot of people, that gives them then the emotional permission to spend now from your investments when you're healthy and active and you want to travel and check things off the bucket list, knowing that you've then built a stronger plan in the future. So early claiming might reduce your portfolio withdrawals today, but it can cost you far more in future income or flexibility or tax control. And the most overlooked consequence is that it's not about you at all, it's what your decision could mean for your surviving spouse. Because retirement planning isn't just exclusively about the numbers, it's also about the people involved. And that's why your Social Security claiming decision should never be made in a vacuum. It should be made with a few things in mind, and two of the most important ones are your personal longevity and the longevity of your spouse. The average 62-year-old man today lives until 81, and for women, that could be closer to 85 or beyond. So while claiming early might feel like I'm getting my money's worth today, the odds say that you'll still be here in your 80s, and one of you might even be here till your 90s and beyond. That's why I encourage clients to plan for both ends of the spectrum. Use your portfolio early on in retirement when you're healthy and mobile and you want to do fun things. It's just easier to do when you're young, and then fall back on maximized Social Security benefits later when you need simplicity and security and all those sorts of things for your own peace of mind, right? Care for your future self at 90, but make sure your 60-year-old version of yourself is having a lot of fun. And by planning for both Social Security and portfolio and intertwining them together, I think that's the best way to do that. Create balance, because the balance then gives you freedom now and stability later, which is kind of what we're shooting for in retirement planning, right? Because there's something that most retirees don't realize. When your future income feels secure, your present income feels more spendable. By locking in that higher Social Security benefit for your later years, you give yourself that emotional permission to spend more early, especially on things that probably won't wait, right? Hobbies, travel, family memories. Tomorrow's never guaranteed. We want to use that flexible portfolio cash to do that kind of stuff, that fun stuff now. And we've seen this in real plans time and time again, right? Retirees with a strong income floor, thanks to that deferred benefit, are simply more confident in spending and enjoying more today. Now, if you're married, this next part is really critical. Many couples have one higher earner and one lower earner. And the smart move usually is to have that lower earner claim earlier, maybe as part of your guardrails strategy. If the market goes down, we can turn on that smaller benefit earlier, and then let the higher earner delay their benefit as long as possible. So why would we do that? Well, because when one spouse passes away, the bigger benefit stays. Survivor benefits are based on the higher of two benefits in a couple. So if the higher earner delays until 70, that larger benefit becomes the surviving spouse's income, and that surviving spouse could live for decades. That's why we want to preserve that bigger benefit as long as we possibly can. And since women tend to outlive men by nearly 10 years in some cases, this strategy is extremely important when the husband earned more, because your benefits are based on how much you paid into the system, which is based on your income. So even if the higher earning spouse dies just a year after claiming at 70, which is terrible, that survivor benefit continues, and it could continue for a very long amount of time. Now, please, I can already hear in the comments below, this has happened in other videos, don't confuse spousal benefits with survivor benefits. Spousal benefits are when you're living, and those do cap out at 50% of that higher earner's benefit at full retirement age. That is absolutely true. But when I say the bigger check stays, I'm talking about survivor benefits. Not spousal, but survivor. Now, in this case, it happens to be survivor spousal benefits, but let's not confuse the two. Big check stays. It's an oversimplification, but big check stays. Coordinating Social Security across both spouses doesn't just increase our income, it also reduces our risk. It reduces risk of outliving your money. It reduces risk of being underfunded in your most vulnerable years later in life. And it reduces the risk of your surviving spouse being in kind of a tricky spot financially. That's why this isn't just about maximizing one specific number. It's about maximizing retirement security across your entire household throughout retirement. All right, now that you've seen how personal health, longevity, your investments, spousal coordination, how that all affect your Social Security together, let's take it one step further and make it personal. Book a call using the link in the description, and I'll analyze your specific situation to determine your optimal claiming strategy and then how to use that to build the retirements you've always wanted. Now, after all that, if you're still tempted to claim your benefits early because you heard that Social Security is going to run out of money and it's going to go broke and I got to get mine before the system runs out, I totally get that. Those are all valid concerns. In fact, the 401k provider Empower reports that 15% more Americans filed for benefits early this year compared to previous years. And many of them are making irreversible decisions based on what I feel is incomplete or downright misleading information. Yes, you're absolutely right. Social Security faces a funding shortfall, but let's be really clear about this. It absolutely can't go broke. It's a dedicated, funded payroll tax. As long as workers, our kids, your neighbors, as long as workers are out earning paychecks, payroll taxes will continue to be collected and it will continue to fund current beneficiaries. So the worst case scenario, if Congress does absolutely nothing, is a 20 to 25% cut on benefits starting at 2033. And claiming benefits early would not protect you from that cut. If there's a cut, everybody gets cut. So here's the question I pose to you. If you're pessimistic about the future of Social Security, are you going to be a prudent pessimist or an improper pessimist? Right? Improper pessimists panic and they claim at 62, locking in a 30% permanent benefit cut. And then if cuts do happen, they're hit with another reduction on top of the cut that they already had, a cut on a cut. Now, prudent pessimists, on the other hand, they're different, right? They delay. They grow their benefit as large as they possibly can so that even if a future reduction happens, that's a cut on a bigger number. That's a cut on a bonus. And I think that's the smarter way to hedge our bets if we are pessimists. And if you've been following Congress, there's plenty of reasons to be pessimistic. So the question to you, do you want a cut on a cut, or would you rather prefer a cut after a bonus? I know which one I would choose. So if you're worried about Social Security's future, don't write yourself into a worst case scenario. Be a prudent pessimist and claim smart. So that's what I got for you this week. My name is Benjamin Brandt. I hope this video helped to make your retirement even better. If it did, hit that like button or share it with a friend. We sure appreciate it. And we will see you on the next one.